Thanks very much, Jay, for that, and also Jürgen for your welcome to country as well. Really appreciate that, and we had a conversation about what that means in Australia and how we're progressing in relation to the recognition of our First Nations peoples. I'd also like to welcome all of the special guests here tonight and our partners in law enforcement. And those of you who've travelled a long way, I know that sleep has been a bit of an enemy for you, and I know that I'll be as quick as I can so that we can get on with you getting some sleep, but also some of our domestic travellers here this evening too. Really appreciate the effort that you've made to come here. And we have a couple of commissioners here. Commissioner Webb's travelled from New South Wales, Acting Commissioner Murphy from Northern Territory, keeping my country safe as well, and my street. I still have a house up there, Murph, and I'm not reading very good stories at the moment, but I need to pick it up. If you want to get the job, mate. Also have Tracy Linford here as well, Deputy Commissioner from QPS. Great to see you, and thank you as well. And a lot of distinguished guests, and of course Jürgen's travelled all the way from Lyon, and it's a special thing to have Jürgen here this evening, and a couple of good friends of mine. I know we were like brothers, Mike Outram and Mike Pizzullo, but we're probably cousins now because you've gone and stayed in Home Affairs and we're now in Attorney Generals, but let's not talk about that. So as you know, last year the Five Eyes Law Enforcement Group principals and representatives met in Sydney to supercharge our collective efforts in combating current and emerging threats. Off the back of crucial intelligence sharing and operational success, we are now in Melbourne fine-tuning and developing new strategies to target transnational serious and organised crime, other serious criminality and acts of aggression that undermine sovereignty and national security. There is no doubt that the rules-based order and rule of law are being challenged at all levels, and this has placed many countries on high alert. It is inevitable that this has sharpened the focus of FELIG agencies, but to maximise success, it also requires FELIG to more adeptly predict future criminality. None of us can afford to be trapped by a policing or law enforcement version of a rat race where we are distracted by daily operations. We are facing an uncertain world and constant technological advancements. So we have a better chance of being in control of our own destiny. We must be unapologetically proactive and innovative in how we identify and disrupt threats. In April this year, FBI Director Christopher Wray said, and I quote, "Today's national security threats are as complex and sophisticated as ever, and it can be easy to be caught up in the day-to-day work of responding to those challenges. But to stay ahead of the danger, we need to look 5-10 years down the road to anticipate where the threats are going." End quote. I also want to point to an instructive paper by the College of Policing entitled Policing in England and Wales, Future Operating Environment 2040. It is another example of law enforcement underscoring the need for long-range action, and this is where FELIG's impact will cement its advantage. The paper said, and I quote, "To meet the challenges and demands of the next 20 years, policing will need to get better at anticipating emerging threats, think more innovatively about the best policies and interventions for addressing them, and mobilise responses quickly to maximise chances of success." End quote. That paper also delved into an issue many countries are facing, and it said, "The UK is also becoming increasingly polarised and tribal in its beliefs, values and behaviours, and that in the period to 2040, there is an enduring, perhaps increasing risk that existing fault lines could become even more pronounced and that extreme or violent ideologies could start to take hold." End quote. And in Australia, COVID-19 was akin to a pressure cooker that further accelerated and polarised sections of the community already questioning trusted institutions, including police. And when the community distrusts law enforcement, our intelligence can dry up. It can be harder to recruit, and some policymakers give more credence to campaigns, including those centred on defunding the police. In law enforcement terms, this is our version of long COVID. FELEG has engaged the Australian Institute of Criminology to map behavioural indicators and psychological profiles of those who have joined recent anti-authority protests. And we hope this research will enable us to better understand those behaviours and mindsets so we can better address these issues. Intelligence is at the heart of law enforcement and national security. FELEG, like our partners in the Australian National Intelligence Community, can deliver our unique collective capabilities to shape the external environment and counter the malign intent of foreign actors. The intelligence that all of us bring to the table is one of the greatest assets to FELEG. And that's why I believe FELEG is the jewel in the crown, is the Criminal Intelligence Advisory Group, or known as SIAG, which provides valuable insights into the global criminal environment. Along with our new thematic model, SIAG will produce the intelligence to enable FELEG to embark on blue sky thinking and a long-range strategy, and to better protect democracy and the public from foreseeable harm. The SIAG is our policing prophet and will be key to more adeptly predicting looming and future criminality. The Fearless Intelligence products, SIAG, are funnelled and produced and funnelled from 8 of our FELEG agencies here tonight. And SIAG is already telling us where the intelligence gaps are and where to focus, and the new methodologies enabling crime in supply chains, financial systems and communications. It is identifying opportunities, telling us where the intelligence gaps are to focus, and the new methodologies enabling in crime in supply chains, financial systems and communications. It's also collaborating with academia, industry and the private sector, such as social media platforms, to let them know how their business is being used by criminals, some operating covertly. And just think about what that can achieve. It can mean law enforcement can help provide valuable insights on enablers and facilitators of crime from the start, especially when it comes to emerging business or technology. This in return will build further trust and create awareness from academia, industry and sectors that are valuable to law enforcement. And I have said this before, trust is like holding sand. It can disappear very quickly, and right now all of us in this room would understand the importance of the community having trust in law enforcement. As we undertake that task, we must be mindful of transparency, accountability when it comes to the use of technology. And technology can be an asset and an adversary. One of the challenges of FELEG is how our collective agencies use and harness technology. Privacy is being demanded by the public, and given recent cyber attacks, they are rightly concerned about how their data is used and stored, as well as technology that is ever emerging. Artificial intelligence is something at the forefront of my mind, not just how we harness it, but how we combat it. It is crucial we provide the community, government and other stakeholders with appropriate reassurance. We can partly do this by sharing with and leveraging from key global bodies such as Interpol, and I do acknowledge again you, Jürgen, for the Secretary General for being here tonight. I'd also like to share with you a future state of the AFP. Our responsibility includes protecting high office holders and sites of prominence that we can see, plus helping to protect our country from the criminality that lurks in the shadows and not always obvious to see. The AFP's statecraft will have to evolve with emerging and enduring threats, as will our role in the Pacific. Just this week, the Australian Government provided a significant budget injection to the AFP including $317 million over 4 years for an AFP Pacific Police Partnership program. And this program enhances our relationship with our Pacific family as we strengthen our shared values, partnerships and security in our region. This investment reinforces the strategic importance of police-to-police diplomacy. But beyond that measure, further funding has enabled the AFP to grow and boost its footprint in Australia and offshore. In numbers, we are small, but I am pleased to announce that the government continues to invest in the AFP, and as a result of Tuesday's budget, we are likely to reach, or we will reach, a headcount of almost 8,000. And what this underscores is that for an agency of our size, the AFP packs a punch, and we continue to be among the first lines of defence for Australia. But I want to be very clear about what this means for the AFP and our synergy with FELEG and partners. The AFP will continue to have a laser-like focus on transnational organised crime, including illicit drug trafficking, cybercrime, terrorism and child exploitation. One of the reasons why is because our intelligence shows us that state actors are using and profiting from organised crime, and organised crime can have the resources of state actors. Some actors are deploying hackers to attack our critical infrastructure and our businesses, and some are trafficking illicit drugs into countries to deliberately create instability, corrupt officials and corrode democratic values. And I want to call that out tonight. These are countries that direct, engage or turn a blind eye to organised crime because it suits their political motives. I say to them, with the resources, capability and the will of FELEG, we will frustrate your efforts, we will seize your ill-gotten assets and bring offenders before the courts. And it will be too hostile for you to target our countries. FELEG is a key alliance in helping to keep Australia and all our regions safe, plus ensuring it helps protect democracy and the rule of law around the world. The message and forecast are clear. Five Eyes is doing more than just watching. The gains to be won from the new thematic model and SIAG means we'll be able to disrupt earlier and prevent targets from taking a foothold in our countries. And finally, I do want to show my appreciation to two respected officials here tonight. I would like to acknowledge retiring ASIO Deputy Director Chris Teal, who is a great ally of the AFP in our country, and whose leadership and expertise has been invaluable over the years. And we wish you well in your future endeavours, noting that this room is not classified enough for me to explain what you hope to achieve beyond your career in ASIO. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. It's quite an interesting choice. And can I also, on a lighter note, also sincerely thank you, Shane, a good friend of mine and Victoria Police Commissioner, for providing the assistance in supporting FELEG, as did Commissioner Webb last year with the motorcade that scared the hell out of all of us, I think, but we had a bit of fun. But Victoria Police also, I must say this, Shane, have shown their utmost dedication and professionalism and is a great partner of ours, and we work together, all of us here, to keep Australians safe and protect our way of life. Enjoy your night and thank you very much.